We spoke to people about what they are doing to ensure that they live a healthy lifestyle.
I eat healthy food, I eat fruits, vegetables, and I jog.
I want to start gymming so that I can make sure that my brain works properly, because they say that exercising daily and making sure that you go to the gym, it helps you to stay focused.
I'm also on a diet I see the way I'm eating, I control my way of eating.
You need to take care of yourself in general. Yeah, drink water, let's sanitize, wear our masks, be safe.
Hello and good morning. On top of the new year, I'm sure you have resolutions. Well, do you? Did you set an achievable goal for your New Year's resolutions? Are you mentally prepared for all your goals? And what are you doing to make sure that they don't fail? Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Dr. Musam Tombeni. Signing with us today is Pumza Sikumba. On Vital Signs, we focus on healthy living and the Omicron variant. Coming up on the program, we'll listen to an insert produced by Zama Butelezi. She spoke to a woman about her health and fitness goals for 2022. We speak to a general practitioner about healthy living and the Omicron variant, and we'll speak to a dietitian about the impact of healthy eating and healthy living. Remember that you can be part of the show by asking the guests that we have on the show some of the questions that you have on your mind by simply sharing your views on what we're discussing today. The number to call is 011-714-5861 or 011-714-5877. You can also catch us on social media, that is with all the thoughts that you have on Twitter at SABC Vital Signs, or Facebook is SABC Vital Signs. Stay with us. Vital Signs continues right after the ad break. Welcome back. This is Vital Signs. Lose weight, eat healthier, change diet, get fitter, and do more exercise seems to be amongst the top 10 of these New Year's resolutions for 2022. Now, despite the best of our intentions, once the glow of the fresh new year wears off, many people struggle to make good on these actual plans. That means over half the people who set their goals for the new year will obviously then fail. Brenda Mukwena is one of the South Africans who've really struggled, and after all of that, she decided to go out and follow her health and fitness goals throughout the year and decided to turn her life around. This is her story.
Johannesburg author, mother of 3 and wife Brenda Mukwena is one of many South Africans who decided to make a life-changing decision about her health when she realized that she could face serious dangers.
I'm a stay-at-home mom, I write books, and now combined with all these things you have stress, you have financial stress, you have all these things, you must take care of the children. Then I said to myself, no, I have to take care of myself. I have to start a serious exercise program. Even though I know that I might not have a man to go to the gym, but I have to start it by myself without thinking about money, so that I can be able to overcome all these problems that you find when you are a stay-at-home mom.
Mukwena spoke to us about a typical day in her life.
You see, around here, Zama, I walk or I jog, but I'm not a jogger. So what I do is I jog a little bit, but I walk a lot. That's why I walk in the mountains, because the mountains will give you the kind of exercise that you need. The rocks, you walk on the rocks. And you must remember, you are taking your time. You are not under pressure when you are walking on the mountains. So what I do, a typical day for me, I walk. Or if my children are at school, I go to the mountains, I walk there, then I come back, I cook for them, I clear their things, which you know you must. I cook for my husband, which you know must. Then that's a typical day for me.
Mukwena says it is very important for a person to work on their mental health before embarking on a healthy lifestyle.
I started my healthy living program because of the mental state. You must remember, Zama, with healthy living, with exercising, with dieting, having a good diet regimen, you are elevating your mental state. Exercise will elevate your senses, all your senses Zama, we are women. You live with the husband. You have to be the sexual. You have to be the financial. You have to be the, and so the first thing is the mental state. Exercising will help you with the mental state, and I suggest to everybody staying at home, whether staying at home, try, even if it's just exercising, just for 30 minutes.
But how has this journey assisted Mokoena to deal with the stresses that most stay-at-home parents face?
I've been doing this, I'm going to tell you, I'm going now to 20 years. I can tell you the truth, going now to 20 years. I've adopted it. It's a habit now for me. It's a habit. It's something I do all the time. And because I don't do the rigorous thing, the strenuous thing, lift it, do this, do this. I take it easy. And I remind myself about the importance of it and how it's benefiting my lifestyle, how it's benefiting my family.
The fitness diva says it's also very important to include family members on this journey.
I play soccer with my son. I do yoga with my daughters. Then I also encourage my husband. My husband does push-ups. I encourage him, do this. You need this. We don't need at the end of the day. The first thing, Zama, is health. Wealth, yes, but the first thing is health. And you can't have a wealth without health. The first thing is health. So I encourage my family, and I do with them. And what I do, Zama, I'm happy you asked this question. I do all these things because at the end of the day, it's about encouraging my children. This is the lifestyle you must choose.
What are Mokwena's views on New Year resolutions?
It's very important to have New Year resolutions, Zam, but I'm going to tell you the truth. An exercise regime and a healthy lifestyle living is not about resolutions. It's knowing the importance of why you are exercising, why you need to be healthy. I have to stress this to you, Zama. It's knowing the importance of why, and this is the word I wanted for you, knowing the importance of why I must adopt this lifestyle of healthy living. And I'm going to tell you, if you know how important it is, if you know how important your health is for you, you will adopt this lifestyle.
After the break, we speak to general practitioner Dr. Marlon McKay and pharmacist and nutritionist Precious Ngayana about healthy living. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Musam Tombene. Every year, millions of people make New Year's resolutions, hoping to spark a little bit of positive change. Now, the recurring theme each year always includes more activeness and, of course, an approach to health as well as fitness, improved finances, and learning new things for personal as well as professional development. Now, medical practitioner Dr. Marlon McKay and pharmacist and nutritionist Precious Ngayana talk to us about the top of these resolutions, and, of course, that is healthy living. Good morning to both of you. How are you today?
Morning, Doc. Thank you.
Good morning, Doc. I'm doing well, thank you, and good morning to your viewers as well.
Lovely. All right, so I'm going to be chatting to both of you this morning as we speak about healthy living. I'll start off with you, Dr. McKay. Let's chat around resolutions and just the thinking that goes behind resolutions. Is this a fair thing that people need to do to themselves every year? And is it fair if you fail at your resolution in January? Can you pick it up in the year?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing in the sense that it's always good to start off new. It's always good to start off with plans. It's always good to start off with something positive. The problem with this resolution is that many of us fail with our resolutions, and probably even before the end of January, probably even by now, 12th of January, many of us have failed our resolutions. And when we're fitting in with this healthy living, the problem comes in is we think, the sense is we've been bad. Now we want to be good so that we can go back to being bad. And I think it's all about principles. And as long as we're using the word lifestyle, I'm happy. When we use words like diet, detox, and toxins, we run into trouble because a lot of diets and changes are not sustainable, and hence we fail. And that can cause us to go back to a poor and unhealthy lifestyle. So when we're using the right terminology with the right goals, and looking long term and not short term, not taking shortcuts, then I think it's probably a good thing.
Now, Precious, a lot of people start off the year and they speak to this idea of wanting to get into a healthy lifestyle. And then this is attached to diet. A lot of people speak to diets, 21-day fast, a 30-day fast, a juice diet, all those sorts of things. But does a healthy living go hand in hand with nutrition?
I mean, without a diet, healthy lifestyle and healthy living goes hand in hand with nutrition. It's such a core of what we do. I mean, the reason why people come January, it's because they've been away on holiday, they've indulged more than they should have, so now they're feeling slightly guilty and they want to lose weight very quickly. I mean, I don't think there's nothing wrong with losing weight, but it's like how and the fact that the sustainability of it, because we know anything, if you lose weight too quickly, as soon as you stop your diet and then the weight comes back much quicker, sometimes even more than what you previously lost. So healthy living, healthy lifestyle, and nutrition. Nutrition is core as to a point where all food groups must always be included in your diet. You must never go through a period where you're saying you're cutting certain groups of food out. And with dieting, sometimes we see a lot of that where people, they would prefer to say, oh, okay, this month I'm going carbohydrates free, because then that creates a long-term problem for you the moment you go back to those carbohydrates.
A lot of the time, Dr. McKay, people speak to this idea of, I'm coming up with different ways to lose this weight. What are some of the popular ways, especially at this time of the year, that people will look towards losing weight and maintaining what they perceive as a healthy lifestyle?
Come up with, and as you mentioned, you know, there's this 21-day fast that's going on. They will go on to, for instance, a cabbage soup diet, or go onto a fruit diet, and so it's usually something where they exclude everything else and only focus on either one particular food group or one particular food type for a limited period of time. Water diet, and eliminating all these things. And again, as we've been saying, the problem with these is that they are not sustainable. Yes, it can cause weight loss, it can cause rapid weight loss, but that alone comes with its own issues. So personally, I don't like this word diet. Again, because it's a short-term thing, it's a shortcut, and we are not using the word lifestyle. We must look long-term and focus in changing our lives. So one has to be very careful where we exclude everything else, because part of living a healthy lifestyle is balance, and no particular food group needs to be excluded, as it were.
Precious, you've mentioned how important it is to put nutrition in front. A lot of people really discuss this idea of being healthy or living healthy lifestyles around the idea of the food that you take in, and not necessarily all the exercise people do. Because, I mean, all of us know that gyms were probably full this morning, that gyms will be full for the next 2 weeks, and then they'll start to slope down. So why is nutrition better than the actual physical activeness that comes into play?
Nutrition is important, is what sustains you as a person. But exercise is just as important. So when you are on diet, you have to, lifestyle changes that you are making. It's the diet plus, or nutrition plus the exercises. I mean, even if you have a prescription for an appetite suppressant, it will tell you that this will only work together with you monitoring what you eat, as well as adding exercises. And then when we say exercise, we don't say people must go to the gym. We just say be active, whether you're walking, you're cycling, you're swimming, whatever you find, or just doing chores around the house, because what makes us gain weight, we eat a lot more than we actually supposed to eat in a particular day, and then we are not active. We spend most of our time seated or doing jobs, or at least the majority of people with urbanization spend a lot of their time just sitting, whether you're working in your office, on your computer, laptop, or you're working from home. So not much activities happen outside the home. So nutrition is important. And you shouldn't, I should emphasize this, they say for you to be even successful at losing weight and keeping it off, you don't have to skip any particular groups of foods. The most type of foods or group of foods that I know people often say, I need to, for 30 days, like go on a sugar-free, carb-free, bread-free, potato-free diet. I mean, okay, it will work to help you lose weight, but then your body will lose the ability to manage your blood glucose with the carbohydrates, because then it will be getting its glucose from other sources. And then once you now start introducing them, then you run into a space where then you pick up weight too quickly, because now it's much easier for the body to actually get carbohydrates. Meanwhile, before it used to have to go to the fats to break them down into usable form of energy.
Dr. McKay, how does one then start? What are the basics of getting into a healthy lifestyle or healthy living, especially as the year has started? I mean, we've touched on diets, we've touched on exercise, but what are the practical ways that one could look at?
Yeah, I think initially the most important thing is that we all have this motivation. We all have this desire to start fresh and to get things going. As I've been saying, think long term, and it's all about balance. As Precious has been saying, it's not about excluding one particular food group. Other principles that are important: eliminating sugar-sweetened beverages, eliminating the junk foods, eliminating the processed foods. Now, if you are also a little bit older, I would also suggest that it may be a good idea to start off the year with having a checkup. Get to know what we talk about, your body mass index. What is my weight appropriate for my height? Check one's blood pressure, have your heart checked, have your sugar or glucose levels checked, have your cholesterol checked, and see if the type of diet that you're going to embark on is applicable to the numbers that you are showing. How bad are they, and what sort of goals? And I think a goal-driven lifestyle is very important. And know your food groups, know also the amount of calories, get to know the food labels as you buy food. You know, I always say, if you buy right, you will eat right. If you shop right, you eat right. Keep things fresh, though. You know, eat things that were still alive up until a few weeks ago. In other words, avoid everything that's in a can, a bottle, a tin, and a box. And then keep things fresh. My one principle I love is eat stuff that comes from a tree and not from a factory. And if you inculcate all these different principles, I think we can do well towards getting towards a healthy lifestyle.
Now, Dr. McKay, a lot of people speak to this idea that, you know, I eat healthy, I'm on these diets or these lifestyle changes that I always try to get onto. I drink my water with cucumbers and lemon in it, but I don't find myself losing weight even though I am exercising. How does one combat that?
Yeah, I think a dilemma like that is, number one, please don't give up. Stay motivated. You are doing the right thing. If there is a specific concern with poor or lack of loss of weight, is considering that you're having such a healthy lifestyle, again, it may be a good idea to visit your GP. Sometimes you could be held back by a thyroid gland, for instance, that is underactive, and that's causing you to refrain from losing weight. There may be other issues with sugar, with your metabolism, that could be playing a problem. So if you know that you are doing everything right, there's no cheating going on, you are exercising right, and you're battling with that, it may be time for a checkup. It may be time for 1 or 2 blood tests, just to make sure that you're not missing something that could be holding you back from that loss of weight.
Precious, the January or the post-festive season is a big time for weightless products to really pop out. You know, a lot of companies offering these pills, offering these shakes, offering all kinds of things to get people to lose weight. Should we partake in these weight loss products, or are they something that we should stay away from?
I mean, I think it's with reason. Like if you go to your local community pharmacy, I mean, we know the popular ones in South Africa, Dis-Chem or Clicks. You can go and speak to your pharmacist. They would advise in terms of what are the products that they have that are safe for use, and then they would advise you how to use them. Like if you go to the front shop section, you find like a whole shelf of like some falls under detox products. There's lots of herbal teas and so forth.
Okay, it seems we've lost Precious, but I think I'll take that question and throw it back to you, Dr. McKay.
But there's some herbal teas that treat constipation. Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, the senna, it's supposed to treat constipation, but some people would use that to actually try and lose weight. It's a very dangerous method. And some of the people, they see these products under slimming products or teas, and then they take them, and then they start to see something happening, and then they get addicted to them. But it's very unsafe if nobody has given you an informed decision in terms of how to use them. So there are healthy options that can help you start off. Remember, when you get an assistant, it's just to help while you're still figuring out how you're gonna go on a journey of lifestyle changes, which means you're gonna drink more water, fluids like teas, and stay away from sugary drinks that will actually are full of empty calories that will make you gain weight without giving you any nutritional value. And then you have like some form of exercise regime that you add to that. Then for some people, for whatever reason, whether now you there's overweight and obese, and then morbidly obese. So if your doctor has recommended that you go on a weight loss program, a pharmacist will probably receive a prescription for an item that is highly scheduled, which comes with a lot of side effects. But because you have a doctor looking after you, they'll inform you of the side effects, and if you experience one of those side effects, what it is that you should do, because some of them can be very serious. And then those are also not long-term. For example, one of the Schedule 5 drugs that you get given, phentermine, you can only take it up to a maximum of 3 months for one period, because you have to go back to the ways now that you've learned in terms of you find your combinations, what it is that you must have for breakfast, for lunch and dinner, and what you should use for snacking. And that's primarily are reserved for people who the weight is considered very detrimental to their health. But what you would find, people who have normal weight, like an average weight, because of wanting to look in a particular way, then they would request their doctors to say, please, I just need something to help me. That will help you, because mostly those are appetite suppressants. But once you stop the appetite suppressants, your appetite comes back. Therefore, you eat just as much as you ate before stopping them, if you don't embark on a journey where you change your lifestyle.
Very important discussion that we're having today, really speaking around this idea of health, eating healthy as well as going out to have a healthy lifestyle. We continue the discussion with the GP, Dr. Marlon McKay, and pharmacist and nutritionist Precious Ngayana. After the ad break, we'll see you after this. Welcome back. This is Vital Signs. GP Dr. Marlon McKay, as well as pharmacist and nutritionist Precious Ngayana, continue the discussion that we had before the break, and we're talking about healthy eating and healthy living in 2022. So let's continue our discussion. Dr. Marlon McKay, I come to you talking about weight loss products. As a practicing doctor, in practice, are patients coming in just requiring tablets to solve the problem and hoping that you'll assist them in that sense, or are people really willing to put the work in?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. And I think in January, you definitely get more people who are willing to put the work in. Maybe middle of the year, toward the end of the year, when they want their summer bodies, people are looking for a quick fix solution and something to help to cheat so that they can lose weight very quickly. So this time of the year, it's to do with the resolutions and the new year. And just on the shortcuts and the OTC products and what's available. I think a few principles from a GP perspective, and for patients. One, just because it's available over the counter doesn't necessarily mean it's safe. Just because it says it's natural doesn't mean it's safe. A lot of these products are unregulated. A lot of them, we don't exactly know what's in them. They haven't really been tested in a proper lab environment and subjected to peer-reviewed journals. So one has to be very careful. And also, if you're not aware of your particular health status at the time, taking some of these products may, for instance, put a strain on your heart, may push up your blood pressure, may increase your risk of a heart attack or stroke or kidney failure, whatever the case is. So I think first and foremost, it's probably a good idea just to rather see your GP first, get a good checkup, and see what would benefit you. There's no such thing as one size fits all. Not one product is okay for everybody. So let's rather be patient. Let's do things properly and look long term towards a lifestyle change and not shortcuts just to lose weight quickly.
No shortcuts to lose weight quickly. All right, we have a call, and that is Zanele from KZN. Zanele?
Yebo, sawubona Muthweni.
Ninjani ma?
Ngiyaphila.
Siyaphila, silalele ma.
Engifisa ukuthola lana ukuthi njengoba kukhona lokho ukuthi ngizenzele mina let's say makhona ama 100% lapha ey'tolo ama-juice 100% whatever ngizenzela ama-veg ngilokhuze ngiwa-blend and so on, but ngibe nenkinga ukuthi if ngi-exercise ngiwumuntu mina ongathandi izinto ezinama-preservatives njengoma energy juice bani zonke nje lezo zinto lezo o-boost abani bani. So ngiprefer amanzi futhi just a tap water. Ngifisa ukuthola la ukuthi yini enye engingayisebenzisa ukuthi ngiphuze, just ukuphuza ukuze ngikwazi ukuthi ngihlale ngi-dehydrated, ngoba mina I prefer only amanzi, but yini enye odokotela abangangirecommendela yona ukuthi ngiyiphuze other than lezi zinto ezinama-preservatives.
Thank you, Masiyabonga. All right, so the question is, someone that generally has a healthy lifestyle, looks after themselves, but really wants to stay away from juices and things such as that, that really have high sugar as well as preservatives and things such as that. So what are the alternatives that she could take in order to make sure that she continues to have a healthy lifestyle, but not inundate her body with lots of preservatives and things such as that? I think let's start off with you, Precious. What do you think she should do?
Okay, I mean, umambatha already udla kahle, uya-exercise, uyazinakekela. Ama-100% juices anoshukela omningi. So amanzi lawa aphuzayo right, ayamnceda kakhulu, but enye into angayenza ukuphuza ama-herbal teas angawafaki ushukela. I-herbal tea izinto ezifana njengo-green tea or any tea, even i-black tea like abo-trinco, ungayifaka nje emanzini uyiphuze ungayifaki ushukela. So leyo actually bathi i-hydrator better than amanzi wodwa, ngoba amanzi mawaphuza kakhulu emaningi ngoba they are not attached to anything ashesha aphume emzimbeni, mari something like itiye iyahlala kancane ayisheshi ukuphuma emzimbeni ukudlula amanzi. So well done to her.
Okay, Dr. McKay.
Yeah, so I totally agree. One has to be concerned about the amount of sugar. And this is why I say try and avoid as much as you can, within reason, things that come in a box, bottle, tin, or packet. Now, just because it says 100% doesn't mean it's 100% healthy. It contains a lot of sugar. It's 100% sugar. You can imagine how many apples or oranges it would take to make a carton of 100% orange juice, for instance. What I usually advise my patients is stick with drinking lots of water. Tap water is fine, it's healthy. Secondly, if you really want fruit juice, buy the fruit, buy the fresh fruit yourself and go home and juice it. And there you've got something that has no preservatives, it's completely fresh, completely healthy, with a decent amount of sugar in it, and not a copious amount of sugar. So keep things fresh and keep things as natural as possible.
All right, let's get into this discussion around shakes or these diet shakes, or, you know, we've seen a lot of them. People will message you on the internet telling you, hey, I sell shakes, please buy them as well. How do you choose the right shake? And are shakes actually something that we need to be getting into?
Yeah, so this is also a difficult and very, very challenging, and it's a huge market out there. And a lot of our patients end up being deceived about benefits versus risks. Probably, again, one of the shakes that I have a problem with are sort of meal replacement shakes. Again, we should be eating and not replacing our food with products. Probably some of the shakes that I don't really have a problem with are those that you take post activity. So you've just had a good gym workout, you've had a good run or a good walk, and you're perspiring, and you just want to replenish some of the enzymes that the muscles may have lost and help your muscles to recover a little quicker after a good bout of exercise. Those are probably okay, but I'm a bit weary about these high protein shakes, things to build muscle builders. You know, just because they say they have these huge banners and what they claim to do, again, is not is not always healthy. It's not really good on the kidneys, not very good for your blood pressure. So treat these things with, be very, very circumspect and take it under the advice of a professional, probably a medical practitioner rather than just an instructor at the gym.
Precious, about nutrition. I mean, you're a pharmacist as well as a nutritionist. Are shakes actually beneficial? Do we find benefit in taking these shakes outside of a gym setting where you have meal replacements or you're on a 21-day fluid intake shake diet, any of those sorts of things? Is this beneficial to a person?
I mean, when you look at unhealthy ways of losing weight, it includes replacing your meals with shakes, which means it's something that shouldn't be done. It tells you if you want to lose weight, you must increase the fiber that you take, which means you must eat more fresh fruits and vegetables. So shakes are not part of what is recommended as a healthy, like the doctor said, Dr. McKay, that you could use it as a supplement, not a meal replacement. A supplement is different, depends, like if you've had an intense workout and you want to have that over and above your meals or things that you can have in between with an advisor or with an advice from a healthcare professional, because on your own, sometimes you may be overloading with your body with nutrients that perhaps can cause some form of stress in your body. Shakes, the slimming shakes, I wouldn't recommend it, and they're not sustainable. Some of them are very costly. So if you go on a shake, up until when you afford to have the shake, and you cannot have a shake all your life, and they don't even taste good, because what people also derive from eating is the joy that comes with eating. So, I mean, a shake now and again, it's fine, but you cannot use a shake as the only form of you losing weight.
Dr. McKay, we've spoken to this idea of balance on today's show, how exercise needs to be used in conjunction with, eating and all of that. But another part of life is really the fun part of life. People drink, people, have and indulge in other ways as well. Is there room for alcohol and increased alcohol intake in a healthy lifestyle?
So my short answer, and again, it's my personal view, my short answer is no. Alcohol, the problem with alcohol, it contains a lot of calories. Alcohol can also lead to impaired behavior, so that we still eat wrongly and we can behave incorrectly. My view is moderation. So not increase, but rather moderately and safely. And if you've been good the whole week, and we do this with kids as well, if you've been good the whole week, you haven't cheated. There's nothing wrong with a cheat meal or cheat drink or something that you really crave in the week. You can have on a Saturday and a Sunday, and then you're back on track on a Monday. I tend to live by, I teach the 80-20 principle. If you put 80% of the time, then let your hair down 20% of the time, and do something fun, do something that you miss, eat something, crave, you want some ice cream, if you want a drink. But I think, again, moderately, in balance, and without doing harm to your body.
Yeah, that's important. I think balance is very important, and that's one way we could definitely look at things. To wrap up our discussion, I really want to chat around children and healthy living. A lot of parents are finding it difficult, especially nowadays and age, where you've got children that are really struggling with weight issues only because of consumption. So how do we go around managing healthy lifestyles in children? Dr. McKay.
Yeah, so this is always a challenge. And I think, again, it comes down to balance, consistency, motivation, and important principle. The biggest cause for me is of children who are overweight is sugar-sweetened beverages and junk foods, processed food. We live in a society where it's just easy to pick up something, go through the drive-through, there's your meal, it even comes with a toy, and you can supersize your drink, and the drinks have copious amounts of sugar. The third aspect is that our kids no longer play outside. They are on their phone, they're on games, PlayStation, whatever the case is, and they are indoors. And while they are playing these games, they are nibbling and eating, and they have no concept. The brain is not talking, the tummy is not talking to the brain, so they don't get to feel full. The satiety center is impacted. And so our kids need to drink more water, stay away from sugar-sweetened beverages. We need to limit their intake of junk foods and processed foods, and our kids need to play. They need to get dirty and play outside, run around, work up a sweat, and that's the type of lifestyle that we need.
All right. We've got Kiamogetswe from Bloemfontein on the line. Kiamogetswe?
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good, thanks. What's your question?
Hello.
Yeah, Kiamogetswe, don't listen to the TV, listen to the phone, please.
I have a question.
Kiamogetswe?
My name is Kiamogetswe. I'm from Bloemfontein. I have a question. What if I have ulcer?
What if you have?
Ulcer.
Ulcer where?
In the stomach.
Okay, what about the ulcer in the stomach? Kiamogetswe, listen to the phone, not the TV, please.
Okay, the ulcer, okay, it's kind of, it's too much in the stomach. So if I exercise, I get like the vomit always comes out.
Okay.
It starts on the throat too much.
All right. It sounds like you've got reflux disease, not necessarily ulcers, from the sounds of things. But thank you for that question. So let's talk around exercise when you have comorbidities. Kiamogetswe is speaking to the issue of when she's jogging or runs, it feels like this burning sensation running up through her throat, which sounds like she's got reflux more than anything else. And obviously, this is due to an incompetent gastroesophageal junction or valve at that point in time. So how do we then do that? How do you exercise? How do we get people to get into this fitness lifestyle when they've got issues or comorbidities? Dr. McKay.
Okay, I think principle number one, you should be on treatment for gastroesophageal reflux disease. There are drugs for PPIs that inhibit the acid production. That's number one. Number two, limit your food intake. Cut back on, don't dump a lot of food into your tummy. Try not to exercise after eating, rather exercise on an empty stomach. Very important, after you've eaten, remain in an upright position. Don't try and lie down. Don't get to bed too early. So small supper, bland supper, early supper, stay in an upright position between supper and bedtime, and then go and sleep. Don't exercise after meals. And by bland, I mean keep your food really tasteless. No spices, no salt. Boiled chicken, boiled veggies, avoid sugar-sweetened beverages, avoid acidic cold drinks, carbonated drinks that can hurt the tummy. And well done for trying to lose the weight. And losing weight is the best remedy long-term for the acid reflux.
All right, thank you, Dr. McKay. Let's wrap things up with you, Precious. This idea of the ideal plate. I mean, it's January, people are looking towards diet. What's the ideal diet to put yourself onto in order to lose weight in a healthy way? Precious?
I mean, you go back to the basics. You have to increase your fiber intake, which makes you fuller for longer, which means you need to eat more fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
And then you have all your meals. You don't skip a meal. You have your breakfast, but you may choose what kind of a breakfast you would have instead of having like a sugary breakfast with like rolled oats and so forth and lots of sweets. You can have something like maybe cooked oats with no sweetener, with just milk, or a cube of cheese or an egg here and there, and more salads in the morning, or a slice of tomato or a whole tomato, something like that, something practical. For lunch as well, have something that is lean. It has all carbohydrates, healthy fats, and proteins. You do the same for supper, and try and avoid and having like late suppers, and close your kitchen for the night. You need to have a time to say beyond this time, maybe 7 o'clock p.m., the kitchen is closed, which means I can no longer go into the fridge and eat as I please. Maybe I could just hydrate myself and add, because I've eaten already enough for the day. Then you would add the exercise, and then eat from all food groups, and don't cut out anything, just reduce. Have smaller portions. Get a friend to go on a diet with you. It always helps to have somebody to motivate if you, that person who struggles going on a diet alone. And then depending on how much weight you also need to lose, then you might need to consult a specialist, maybe a registered dietitian that could sit down with you, go through the whole list of your life, like take a good history and then make a plan that would fit to your what you eat on a regular basis, because there is no point us advising somebody to go start buying things that are outside what they normally eat and enjoy. So it's about getting better choices of the things you enjoy and the things that you know already that are bad for you, like fried foods and processed foods, all manner of processed foods. Those are not good for you. Try and have home cooked meals. I mean, takeaways are fine now and again, but learn to cook your own meals. That way you can control how much sugar that goes in there, because you find a lot of free sugars, sugars that are defined as those sugars that are added by the manufacturer or a cook or yourself at home. Honey is one of the things that is considered healthy. It is healthy within reasons, but it has a lot of calories because it's very sugary. So when you're going on diet, also honey should form part of the things that I'll have my tea, maybe with just half a spoon of honey instead of the whole spoon of honey, or teaspoon, not the spoon, the teaspoon I'm referring to. So those are the kind of small adjustments that one can do to move forward. You do that because you shouldn't do extremes, because that will not be able to sustain moving forward. And you go through periods where you are craving for food and you can't have because you're starving yourself. In the process, you're actually slowing your own metabolism. So, which is something everybody wants, a very active and fast metabolism.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today, Precious, and really giving us a rundown of what nutrition is and all the things that we need to look out for. Dr. McKay is not moving a muscle. He joins us after the break because we continue with the show and have a look at Omicron variant. That's the discussion we've had today, speaking about healthy living and a healthy lifestyle. An important note from Precious is close the kitchen. Going for a quick ad break. We'll see you after this. Welcome back. All viruses, including the SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, change over time. Most changes have very little to no impact on the virus's properties. However, some changes may affect the virus's properties to such an extent that it becomes easy to spread. And of course, the associated disease severity then changes. And of course, the performance of vaccines sometimes is affected. Therapeutic medicines may struggle sometimes. And of course, diagnostic tools or other public health and social measures may fail because of that. General practitioner Marley McKay joins us to talk about the recently highly transmissible Omicron variant. You heard about it late last year, so we're going to continue that discussion with him now. Dr. McKay, the Omicron variant, a lot of jokes came out about it, but a lot of reality came out about it as well, because we found ourselves fearing for another lockdown. But let's talk about the Omicron variant.
Yes, it didn't change our lives. I mean, one broadcast and literally the world changed. In South Africa, was changed and impacted to such a great extent. And so, as you're saying, it's viruses live to mutate and they mutate to live. So it's in the natural course of a pandemic that the SARS-CoV-2 can undergo changes, mutations, as it were. And hence we had a new variant called, by the WHO, named Omicron. Fortunately, as we've seen, we do see that it is highly transmittable. It is highly infectious. It seems to have a short incubation period, which means that from the time that you've been with someone who is infected up until the time you get sick is much shorter, just a day or two. And it seems to have what we call immune evasiveness, in the sense that it can evade the antibodies that you've had from a previous COVID infection and even antibodies developed from recent vaccination. And hence, so many people have become infected so quickly, and you can see it is really taking the whole world by storm. It's really a global phenomenon at this point in time.
The big thing about the Omicron variant, I think, when it came out, was this issue of something else existing, where people were calling it a weird flu, that there was this flu going around as well, and people weren't sure whether is this the new Omicron and how, we get the symptoms and things such as that. So what are the symptoms we need to look out for when you think you may have an Omicron infection?
Yeah, so that's interesting because of this, the weirdness of the presentation. I was just telling my patients, if you have if you have any flu-like illness, it's just worth it to get a test, because sometimes you don't know. What I found in my practice with Omicron is that most patients presented with sort of a scratchy throat, a sore throat, and body aches and pains, sometimes a fever, low back pain. Fatigue was quite classic. And I must say, compared to the recent Delta variant, there was very, very few cases of patients who had lost their taste and smell. And since this wave, we've had probably less than 10 of my patients who have had COVID with the suspected Omicron have had changes in taste and smell. So that's been very, very interesting. There's a unique presentation, but it's not that unique that you can say for a fact this is Omicron and not flu or not sinus. And so I think the rule should be, especially if you've been in contact with someone who has had COVID, subsequently then you develop symptoms, that is COVID until proven otherwise, and get tested.
Let's chat around severity of Omicron. I mean, we see the numbers, and we saw the numbers late last year and early this year, 23,000 and so on and so forth. But we had relaxed measures because of the evidence that had come out. So is Omicron something that leaves people severely ill in hospital?
So fortunately, it doesn't. What we have seen is that Omicron has not resulted in the same amount of hospitalization, same amount of deaths compared to the Delta variant. There's definitely what you call a decoupling. It is not linked. And this is probably due to a number of reasons. One, it seems that this particular variant has a less affinity for lung tissue or for the bronchial tissue, and so it causes less COVID pneumonias compared to the other variants, in particular Delta variant. What we've also seen is that, in particular, the South African situation, this was something that was published last week. One of the reasons that it seems to be milder is the heavy burden of COVID. Now, what we see with over 3 million people is probably not a true reflection. And a seroprevalence survey that was done in Gauteng, we estimate that over 70% of Gauteng's population has had COVID during the previous 3 waves. And this level of infection has probably caused a decent level of immunity to severe illness. We talk about getting T-cell immunity. So not from vaccines, this is just from a previous infection. So it remembers that one has had it. And when you get infected with Omicron, you have some level of protection already, which results in fewer cases of severe illness, fewer cases of hospitalization, and lowering of the death rate. And hence, it has been advantageous for us as a country in that we did not go back to the heavy lockdown restrictions as experienced in the previous waves.
So we speak about waves, where things are happening and people are barred from going to places and things such as that. We didn't have that. But today is an important day because a lot of children are going back to school. And of course, a lot of worrying is going to live in this idea that children are going to go play with each other, masks off, live their best lives, and then come and bring COVID back home. Is this something that we should be scared about? Are children affected as well as adults with the Omicron?
Yeah, so if you look at the global stats, and especially in the US and the UK, we're definitely seeing a lot more cases of kids and more severe cases. In fact, in my practice, I had one patient that I had to send to hospital, and that was a 5-year-old kid with severe pyrexia illness who actually developed seizures from the fever. So we are seeing more serious cases with kids. However, I don't think this is cause for alarm because we are all getting COVID irrespective. And I think the message with regard to kids and COVID is really about vaccination. And it is important that everyone who is eligible for vaccine should be vaccinated so that we don't have to have this fear of what are the kids going to bring home, etc. And so as long as our masks are on, we are vaccinated as adults, and the kids from the age of 12 to 17 are vaccinated, I think life can return to normal. And I would love our kids to be at school every single day, getting the education that they need.
Very true. Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Marlon McKay, for joining us today as we really interrogated this idea of a healthy living. It's a new year. It's a new me. And of course, we hope that you take all the resolutions that you've made for yourself to the next level and keep that healthy lifestyle. Just because you made a mistake on Monday doesn't mean you can start again on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or the day following that. Keep your resolutions and do the best that you can to maintain a healthy lifestyle and healthy living in 2022. I'm Dr. Musa Mtombeni. Stay safe. We'll see each other next week.